Now we will go into the actual paragraphs of Answer to Job for a while. So in paragraph 662, Jung makes this just statement. For a reflecting consciousness, it is impossible to think of God as the Summum Bonum, that is, all good God, okay? Witness the Las Vegas shooting last week. You just can't say...
Cancer, the plague.
Yeah, I mean, the cancer, the plague, Nazis, USSR, you name it, Stalin, Pol Pot, on, and the USA too, because we've been a scourge. No kidding, we've been a scourge in lots of places. We certainly were in Vietnam, we were in Cambodia, Laos, Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan. Okay. Chicago, New York, right. I mean, we can't... The issue is that everybody has to evolve themselves. You can't force people to evolve. And so this was the disconnect, I think, after 9/11, which was, I went to Saudi Arabia 9 months after 9/11, and everyone was so apologetic, okay? It was amazing. I mean, they were so generous and receptive of me, and they were so apologetic about what went on, but they weren't thinking in any way that they had to change, okay? They weren't thinking about changing the way they are. Now we're starting to see it. Now as they start to realize that there are more Muslims being killed than Westerners, and mainly by Muslims, not by Westerners, and entire countries and societies have been destroyed. Certainly that's true in Iraq and Syria. Once those whole societies were destroyed, basically, all of a sudden Muslims are thinking maybe we should change somehow. Okay, and it's a very slow process, but it is happening. I mean, I see it happening.
I'm thinking even the word individuation, that means a person. You're coming from a tribal society.
Yeah, people have
that much longer of a process to get to.
Sure, because and it's true here too. I mean, because the Vice President of the United States can go out and say, man, everybody's got to stand up for the national anthem. Well, screw that. I didn't serve in the armed forces and defend the First Amendment so that we could force people to do anything, okay? And if we're going to say that you have to stand or you have to salute the flag, that's bullshit. That's the beginning of totalitarianism. But they're getting away with it in the red states because they were so angry that a black man was president of the United States that they're willing to do all kinds of things. As I was saying before, I spent 23 years actively in the Marine Corps, and our enemy was Russia. And so for me, the stuff that's going on now in Washington, I just cannot believe it's being allowed.
I grew up on the tit of American propaganda. I mean, I know what you're saying. And Russia was always... That's why when I came back to the States, I don't remember being in red states and blue states when I left the U.S., but I came back in the red states, and they were Republican of all things. I thought that's just beyond ironic to me.
Yeah. It is beyond ironic. But the interesting thing is that societies do change and they evolve. And so our enemy, the Soviet Union, by us not attacking them, oh, by the way, they collapsed on their own, right? they had a system that didn't work. And I remember in business school in the mid 70s, was it 70s? Yeah. Starting in 1977, I was in business school, and the dean of the business school and the economics professor, who later went on to Harvard and became one of the leading economists in the world, had been to Russia, and they had seen the way the economy worked there. And they said, you're driving down the street in Russia, and all of a sudden it'll start to rain. And when it starts to rain, everybody stops their cars, jumps out, and puts their windshield wipers on the cars, and then they go on. And we say, okay,
Precious commodity.
okay, Dean Meckling, why did they do that? And the reason is because central planning of the economy doesn't work. And if you don't make enough windshield wipers, then they're a scarce commodity. And then if you leave them out on your car, they'll get stolen. Right. And so then the other...
You got the U.S. where you park your car and come back an hour later and it's up on blocks. There's no wheels. Everything's stripped out of the car.
Well, that does...
Opportunity.
Well, I mean, yeah, and so we have to think about how we change that, but we don't change it by prohibiting it. What we change is the fact that those people aren't starving, and therefore they don't feel the need to do such things, right?